right, let's get some reaction to all of that now from veteran pollster Nik Nanos. He's the founder and chief data scientist of Nanos Research, one of the hardest working pollsters I know, because you were kind enough to join me on CTV National News last night. But obviously a lot of people are waking up today. They're hearing about the pump price changes. And I wonder on the issue of the carbon tax hike, can you just remind us what your own polling data has told you about how Canadians feel?
Well, there are a number of things on this issue. First of all, polling polling that was released last week suggests that a pretty significant proportion of Canadians oppose the carbon tax increase. It's interesting. Other research that we've done on carbon taxes and the perception of the carbon tax suggests that Canadians are more likely to think that the environment is actually more important and combating climate change is more important than worrying about the cost of living right now. But the challenge right now is that, with the Liberals focusing on the rebate, they're not explaining what the impact will be. And, the reality is that if you want Canadians to make a sacrifice, if we want to move forward on this issue, and if the Liberals truly believe in the importance of the carbon tax, they've got to really explain what the destination is, because that's how this will be judged, John. If we see that greenhouse gases go down as a result of this initiative from the Liberals, people won't be happy, but they'll probably accept the carbon tax. If they see that greenhouse gases don't go down over time, they're going to be like, what's up with this? You've asked us to do this, and greenhouse gases haven't gone down. So the proof literally will be in the Easter pudding. I don't know if we want to say that, but that's how it's going to play. That's realistically how it's going to play out. So the Liberals will be judged based on the real impact on carbon emissions over the next couple of years.
What would be your suggestion on how you better communicate that? I'm not asking you to play PR strategist here, but this came up in that report we ran before you as well. How do you get that message across in a way that makes more sense, I guess, sort of holistic sense to the average Canadian?
I think two things have to happen. First of all, for the Liberals, they've got to tell Canadians that sacrifices have to be made in order to fight climate change. Like to say, I don't remember that song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." Like there's a rebate. There's no cost. It's kind of like the magical program that gets us towards fighting climate change. And don't worry, it won't cost you anything. I think the reality is, and everybody understands, that if we really want to fight climate change, changes have to occur in people's daily lives, and that there is a cost for everyone, realistically. And I think the Liberals, my observation is that any government does a disservice when they tell people they can have their cake and eat it, that they can tell people it won't cost anything and we'll still have climate change. When the reality is, I think Canadians are more sophisticated. I think the Liberals should say there are sacrifices that are going to have to be made, more sacrifices from polluters than consumers, but even consumers are going to have to make sacrifices. And if we make these sacrifices, that these things will or should occur. And I think that's where they fall. I think that's where the Liberals have fallen short, because people are cynical. They just think, oh, so you're telling us there's no cost? It's like telling people we can cut your taxes and we can still deliver on public health care and we can still deliver on public education, but you can have lower taxes. It just doesn't ring true.
And just a final question on the political dynamics of trying to deliver that message when, certainly with the Conservatives, you've had a very simple and loud axe the tax message that is countering the Liberal narrative.
Yeah, and I think the Liberals need a simple response, which is sacrifices have to be made. These are the sacrifices that companies are going to make. These are the sacrifices that individuals are going to make, but this will reduce greenhouse gases. The other problem is having Justin Trudeau sell this might not be the best strategy, because his brand is weak right now. The Liberals hypothetically should be looking at members of cabinet and the Liberal team to sell this in order to make it a little more palatable, because what they're doing is they're putting him in the window, and he's a lightning rod right now. That could change, but right now it's a negative lightning rod.